We've all been told the same tragic story. A massive fire, maybe set by Julius Caesar, maybe by a religious mob, ripped through the legendary library of Alexandria. The world's collective wisdom, thousands of priceless scrolls burned to ash, setting human progress back 1,000 years. It's a powerful, dramatic image. It's also a lie. The Library of Alexandria didn't die in a blaze of glory. It died the same way a broken YouTube link does. It was deleted. Here is the truth that historians are now piecing together. The library was unkilled by a single act of arson. It was killed by budget cuts and simple indifference. Think of it like a massive ancient subscription service. For centuries, the Ptolemaic dynasty, the Greek kings of Egypt, poured money into it. They treated it like the world's most important think tank. They paid the smartest people from all over the known world to come to Alexandria to study, to debate, and to write. They had a famous policy. Every single ship that docked in Alexandria's harbor had its books seized. This was a state-funded, aggressive pursuit of knowledge. But then the Romans came. They didn't see the value in paying scholars to just sit around, think, and argue. The subscription lapsed, the generous stipends for scholars were cut, the funding for acquiring new scrolls and, more importantly, for maintaining the existing ones, dried up. Without a dedicated team of scholars and scribes to constantly recopy the incredibly fragile papyrus scrolls, they didn't need a fire to be destroyed. They just rotted away. Papyrus in that climate has a shelf life. It crumbles. It turns to dust. It was a slow, agonizing eviction of knowledge happening over generations. There were indeed fires in Alexandria, like the one during Caesar's civil war, but these were military accidents that likely hit warehouses near the port, not a catastrophic destruction of the main library itself. They're gone because the software they were built on is extinct, the file formats are obsolete, or the company that hosted them went out of business. We aren't losing our history to a fire. We're losing it bit by bit because we stopped clicking Save As, because we failed to migrate old data to new systems. We're letting it rot, just like the scrolls. This new understanding of Alexandria leaves us with three truly terrifying questions for our own time. First, there's the preservation gap. If the entire internet went dark tomorrow, what's the one piece of human knowledge, a scientific formula, a piece of art, a philosophical text that exists? Asterisk, only asterisk, in digital form that we haven't backed up on physical paper that we would regret losing the most? What crucial part of our culture have we failed to preserve in the real world? Second, the algorithm trap. Back in Alexandria, the kings and head librarians decided what was important enough to be copied and preserved. Their biases shaped the historical record. Today, algorithms decide what we see. Content that gets likes, shares, and engagement gets promoted and archived. Content that doesn't effectively disappears. Are we right now deleting crucial but unpopular history just by not liking it enough? Are our future historians going to think our era was only about memes and dance challenges? And third, indifference versus disaster. Which is actually scarier? The idea that a library can be burned down in a war, a clear act of destruction. Or the idea that a library, the sum of a civilization's knowledge, can just fade away because people lost interest, because it wasn't profitable, because they just stopped caring. The first is a tragedy. The second is an indictment of an entire culture. So, the real story of the Library of Alexandria isn't about a fire. It's a warning about maintenance. It teaches us that knowledge isn't a trophy you win and put on a shelf. It's a living fire that you have to constantly feed and tend to, or it goes out all on its own. It requires active, continuous effort to keep it alive. If you think this piece of history is worth preserving, go ahead and hit that like button. It's the modern equivalent of copying a scroll for the next generation. Subscribe for more deep dives that change the way you see the past. I'll see you in the comments. Thanks for watching.